Pisces family, we're getting a message from the 𝗪𝗲𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃. We're just seeing what's up, what's going on, what does the tarot want to communicate to me. I had an experience tonight where an entity that I refer to as my fear totem showed up on my Instagram feed, and I have every word relating to that entity blocked. So naturally I felt that was very weird, especially given everything that's been going on. So we're just checking in on a little message, getting an energetic check-in. And doesn't my room look so much better already? Like, literally the only reason I didn't get all the way up there is because, like, I didn't have a step ladder at that time, but like already it looks so much better. I've only painted like that part and like this part that you can't see, but dude, it looks so fucking good compared to like what it's been looking like, and I cannot wait to get up there and paint all of the blue stuff that like didn't come off when I peeled the blue paint off. But remodeling takes time, and that's also something that is coming through. The message is coming through that, like, y'all know that when I talked about, like, what was going on with the paint, when I moved in here, the paint was blue, and I absolutely fucking hated it. The paint job was really bad, and there was a shelf that was installed improperly, and, like, honestly, like, I had my books up on that shelf, and it almost fucking fell and crushed me and my friend, like, after a dinner party that I had. So I moved all of my books to the floor, and then I went to London, and when I came back, I noticed that the paint was peeling off. So I started peeling it. Like, literally, it was like the day that, like, in the first week that I got back from London, I'd say like in the first 2 or 3 days. And I perceived this as like, you know, this old layer, like, of, you can even think of it as like this old like way of being, this mask being peeled off. Because I did a lot of crystal grid working while I was there. It was like it was cosmic, like, that experience. I don't know if I've talked about it yet. The Hanged Man in reverse, there's forward motion happening, but so only some of the paint hasn't been able to come off, which, like, I mean, good for that part of the paint, because paint shouldn't be fucking peeling off to begin with. But all the same, like, I knew that I wanted to paint over it. I wanted to paint it white because I prefer a white room. I, you know, have a few diagnoses where, like, I have attention stuff. So, like, white room for my ADHD mind is really helpful. And I went to Home Depot and got a bunch of swatches and put them up on my wall and lived with them for a little while and decided the color that I wanted it to be. And like, this is like months of progress. It didn't happen overnight, right? So when I come back, the paint is just peeling. Like, there's a little tag, and I like pulled it, and then like all of it started peeling off. Like, huge swatches of the paint started peeling off. And I really did perceive this as like a new layer, this unwanted layer being removed. And then I finally got the paint, and still it was a while before I actually like started using the paint, because I wanted to pay someone else to do it, but I also, like, I honestly couldn't afford to like pay someone to do something that I can do. But I haven't been super able lately. I've been like, if I'm like medium high support needs right now, like, I'm obviously not a level 3 autist, but for my own level, which I'd say is like level 1, I'm medium to high support needs, because like the overloading of my nervous system for all these long periods of time, not just like with previous trauma, but like concurrent BS, has had me like pretty low executive functioning and experiencing like at different points in time dorsal vagal shutdown. I believe that's what it's called. Anyway, so medium high support needs, and so I really did feel like it would be better for me to pay someone to do it because otherwise it wasn't going to get done. But I started painting last night, and it really like made such a huge difference. And so this thing that's coming out to me that came out with the Hanged Man in reverse is that like progress is being made. Like the process of liberation from these layers of programming, these layers of trauma. Avi, moving in storage, is standing out on that paper that I'm looking at down there. The layers of trauma like are being peeled back. They're like being expunged. So like it has to surface to purge, and you know, it is going to show up in these different ways that are very triggering, obviously. But we have to trust the process. Like, time will tell is what's coming up. But ultimately, like, look around. Like, y'all have seen, like, me in this process. Like, when I moved here, it was under pretty, like, I was going through a lot, and it's, like, my body is recognizing that it's safer, and, like, when I was in London, I slept so much, because, like, my body needed that rest, you know what I mean? And so it's, like, I might not think that these changes are being made, but they are being made slowly but surely. Okay, Ace of Wands, new energy, new life force energy is coming in, and it's clearing out. Like the light codes, life force energy from the 6D, 7D. Yeah, 6 and 7D is coming in, and it's liberating us. And there are so many surprises that are like completely unexpected. 717. The Priestess, trust your intuition. Like, it's okay. We've been promised that it's over. Like, we are so taken care of. We are so protected. We've been promised that it's over. The war has been won and justice is being handed down. What's happening in the spiritual realm is making its way to the 3D, and that just has to happen as it happens, my loves. Queen of Swords, don't let the haters stop you from doing your thing. We're to Kevin G. We're to Mean Girls. Queen of Swords, we have to control our mind, because if we don't, someone else will. And I saw 756 on the timer, and I'm gonna say this, like I've talked about, at least in my newsletter, I've talked about the Emperor comes out, Eight of Swords comes out, the Magician. There is spell work, but it's from the past, like, and as it's purging, it's like doing what it's acting out, it's lashing out so that it doesn't go, even if it's not sentient. Like when it was programmed, that's what it did. And some of these entities are sentient, and that's what they do. They fight because they don't want to go. But like Knave of Cups, like relax. Like, start getting used to living a soft life. And I've talked about contrast therapy and, like, how it has helped me to reset my nervous system and really develop, like, ingrained methods of transcendence of trauma programming. And when I saw this thing, I just started, like, doing my polyvagal breathing and, you know, trusting that my nervous system will reset, because I have had this fear programmed into me. So that's a message for all of you. We've all been programmed with fear, especially like, hey, like baby millennials, Gen Millennials, if you were a kid experiencing 9/11, like that shit fucked me up. Like, I'm gonna make a part 2 because I really actually feel like I need to tell this story. Part 2 of this reading. So yeah, Gen millennials, like, if you were a kid when 9/11 happened, like, that shit fucked us up, like, deeply, deeply traumatizing. And I know that there were things in all generations that everyone experienced, but it doesn't fucking matter. The point is, like, when you have something like I grew up on the East Coast. I grew up in Maryland. Like, our parents had to come pick us up from school. And I know people in LA who are like, yeah, that didn't happen. It was not really, like, it was a big deal, but it was, like, not that big of a deal. Like, I have family in New York, New Jersey. I live in New York now, but, like, I had and still have family up here that, like, you know what I mean? Like, my mom came to school crying. Like, and I had dreams about bombs, like, going over my elementary school and, like, us getting bombs. And I know, like, I know people who grew up during, like, the Cold War and had to do, like, bomb drills where they had to, like, hide under their desks and stuff like that. And I'm not taking anything away from that, but, like, what I'm saying is, like, if you have lived a life of fear, that shit affects you. Like, we've all, outside of people who have, like, MKU programming and gate programming, like I do, like many of us do, like, if you experienced something collective like that, that ingrains trauma and fear in you to the point where, like, for myself, like, I remember when I moved to the city, like, my first year living in the city, my best friend and I, like, were on the train and we were high. I don't think I can say that on here. Like, we had chiefed, and she is not American. She grew up in Europe, and I was like, I saw a guy get on the train. Now, this is a combination of traumas, okay? The collective traumas, which tells you, like, about collective traumatization and paradigms. So a guy got on the train wearing a trench coat and dark sunglasses. He was probably wearing combat boots, and I, being paranoid because, like, we'd been puffing on that loud, on that stramonium, if you will, word to Joey Badass, I, like, freaked out. I was like, we have to get off this train. Like, you don't understand. Like, I cannot stay on this train. We have to get off this train. She's like, what? Like, what is going on? Like, why are you freaking out? And I will explain later, but we have to get the fuck off of this train. And so then, like, we got off of the subway and we, like, waited for the next car, and I was like, I'm so sorry, but that guy was wearing a trench coat, and, like, I think that he could have had a bomb. Like, he was really creeping me out. I was, like, so scared. She's like, okay, dude, like, okay. And, like, this relates to the next story that I'm gonna tell, which was, like, last year. But there was no on the train. There wasn't. I was scared of him because he looked like Dylan and Eric from Columbine. That's how they dressed, and that's how these dress. And that's what I remember from being a kid, 3, 4, 5 on the timer. I don't know where I stopped, but I had to, like, undo the last part that I did because this card has nudity on it. But this card came out when I was talking, and I was saying, like, people don't even realize that this is the kind of stuff that keeps us from being able to receive, to vibrate at a frequency of wealth and prosperity, and to be able to receive, because fear repels love. Love is the frequency of people who do evil things but still get money. That's money, and that is shaitanic. And that's how they're able to get stuff in the material realm, because they are making sacrifices. And it doesn't matter if they know that or not. If you are making money off of innocent people, you are participating in whether or not you believe in that stuff or not, it doesn't matter. You're participating in it. So you can see the difference between, like, this part of the wall where I didn't paint and this part of the wall where I did. This is the stuff that keeps the money from coming in, and that's why these things are orchestrated. That's why they do it. So Dylan and Eric, the reason why I was triggered by that guy wearing the trench coat, other than the fact that, like, yo, we really had that loud, to be honest. Like, back in those days, yo, we were not playing. Eight of Pentacles. When this process is complete, so like you're gonna experience a change in your fortunes, in your financial life, that is just going to blow you out of the water. And this is giving like within the next 8 months, because I know people say soon, it's coming soon. I'm picking up that within the next 8 months. Like, this is like really a changing of tides, a changing of the guard, so to speak. And so they want you to be operating from fear instead of joy and love and fun and happiness. That's really what it comes down to. The next anecdote situation was, I was in a place with a lot of QT people, and these two people who appear to me as men showed up, and they were wearing combat boots and like all black and had black backpacks. And mind you, that was my 4-year anniversary of being sober that day. So I was sober. There was no chemicals in my body making me paranoid, except for my own nervous system, which has been manipulated against me. And now we're clearing that out with the light codes. And there's just a pressure that I'm feeling, pushing from the earth, pushing this shit out as the core, the diamond core is activated. But so I literally sat there while people were talking for 4 minutes. It felt like 4 minutes, thinking these dudes are mass pewers and I gotta get out of here. Like, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna do this? Should I just leave? Should I like run? Or what if I run and they like see me and they like start pewing? Should I tell my friend? Like, am I a bad person if I don't tell my friend? But like, I can't save everyone, I have to save myself. Like, this shit was crazy, and I deadass was scared as fuck, bro. I'm not kidding. Like, I'm not fucking kidding. Like, I was deadass scared, like, for my life. Like, this is not a joke. I was like deadass. I thought that I was gonna get murked that night. And then I saw that one of them had nail polish on, because this was an event for, like, this was a program for trans-identifying people, and I'm non-binary. And so, yeah, like, I saw that person had nail polish. I, like, eased up a little bit. I saw that they, like, waved at someone, so somebody knew them. So I eased up a little bit more, and then I realized that they had, like, a responsibility to the program. So I, like, eased up even more. I was like, oh, okay, like, people know these people. They're not mass pewers. They still could have been, but, like, in that context, they were not. And that's trauma. I thought, like, after I realized, like, that wasn't what was going on, I thought it was so funny, because I am so used to automatically making a joke out of these things so that I don't, like, go crazy. But yo, like, it took me telling my friend, and I was laughing, they were like, dude, like, are you okay? That's, like, really fucked up. And it took me till that, and my therapist didn't think it was funny either, to be like, oh, actually, like, I'm unwell. Like, that's not okay. Like, and I'm like, yeah, I just haven't gotten over 9/11. You know, I just haven't gotten over Columbine. Like, you know what I mean? All right, part 3. This is going to be the final part of this reading, but so, yeah, these are deep traumas. Like, you may just think that that's like, oh, no big deal. Like, was I walking around thinking about how much 9/11 affected me or how much Columbine affected me? No, absolutely not. I don't regularly think about it. That's why it shows you how deeply ingrained these fear programs are. You get the Ten of Wands in the direct position and Justice in the reverse position. We have to let justice be served. We have to call judgment. We have to be arbiters of justice ourselves. And in order to do that, that means that all of the blockages within us, like, I don't think people realize when we ask for the blockages to be removed, the barriers to prosperity and abundance and wealth and fortune and grace to be removed, that shit, we're the ones who are holding on to it for dear life. And no, I'm not saying that that's our fault, but that's the whole point. It's not an accident that we are made to be afraid. And that keeps us in the position that we're in. And yes, people who have always had more access to resources their whole lives experience vastly less fear. Because there's a certain level of certainty and surety that comes with having access to resources. And those are the people who are closer to the means of production within this Euro hierarchy. Because the fact of the matter is, yeah, the West has some resources, but look at what's happening in France now that they got kicked out of Africa. This is what y'all in the proletariat need to understand, and I don't know, that word's probably going to get banned as well. This is what people who are part of the everyday common folks who go to work and collect a paycheck month to month, I don't care if you are hourly or you're salaried, because that really is the way that y'all be thinking, is like, oh, well, I'm salaried. I'm talking about you don't have generational wealth, though. You still gotta work. Whereas I know people whose parents are billionaires, they don't have to work. Bitches can be working at a fucking bar in the Lower East Side, meanwhile living in a 1-bedroom apartment in East Village. How? Because they don't have to work. They can be artists. They can do whatever they want to fucking do because they have generational wealth. If they lost their job today, they're not losing their apartment tomorrow. Promise you that. But you, if you lose your job today, I know that in a few months you're gonna lose your apartment, and some of you is 2 paychecks away from losing your apartment. All right, let's be fucking real. So think about it this way: just like France is out here flexing on motherfuckers, right? Oh, we're a big European power. Da 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 da. The lingua franca used to be French, right? Exactly. Now it's English. Point is, they only have maintained their position in society because of what? Their extraction of resources that they never had. They never had nothing on the continent of Africa. They absolutely never had anything on Haiti. They never had it. But they were able to come in and convince through indoctrination and fear programming, because it's not like the indigenous people of these lands just were like, oh, okay, yeah, you come in, be in charge of us. Sure, I fuck with that. All good. No, they tortured them. They waged war against them. Not only did they program their minds, these people did not want to go to where they were being taken to. These people did not want to speak these other languages. They didn't want to eat these other foods. They didn't want to worship other gods. They did not want that, and they fought against it. But the thing is, these other motherfuckers are so fucking depraved and cruel and evil, and there was no limit to how fucked up and disgusting they were. And now, the tables have turned. What I say, the tables have turned, and we know it in the ethers because we have seen it. It's been coming, because I've been made that prophecy. In fact, I'm pretty sure that shit goes back to I know it goes back to this reading that I did on Instagram Live in 2019, December 2019, before I went to London for the Christmas holiday. I did a reading on live, and the shit that I saw blew my mind. And then I heard what was going on the BBC New Year's Eve 2019, and I knew that that's what I had been hearing, that's what I had seen. And then a few months later, and in that BBC broadcast, they were talking about how in Wuhan they had to erect these emergency hospitals. I didn't think nothing of it and pay attention to that. I didn't think anything of it because I felt like, oh, that's not affecting me. And then come March, before the end of March, before mid-March, what the fuck happened? 2020. What happened? Y'all got to pay attention. You got to fucking pay attention, okay? Like, be clear on what is happening to you. And point is, they embedded trauma in the body through mutilation. SA. Like, and what I said, over time, they kept doing this generation after generation after generation, so that DNA carries on. So it's not just your fears, although they're making sure that you're never not being affronted by fearful experiences, fear-inducing experiences at all times. They're making sure of that, so that all that trauma can stay triggered, stay active in the body, and all that healthy programming that had built up over generations and millennia of evolution, that deteriorates and that starts to fall away. That's how biology works. Look it up. And that's why I really don't have time for people who want to say, oh, that's just woo-woo, which is mad anyway. Like, I know that a motherfucker that says some shit to me like that don't read. You don't read. You don't have any real comprehension. You're not a critical thinker. Like, you're not even scientific, empirical at all. It's wild how the colonizer be dumb as fuck, or the foot soldiers of colonialism be dumb as fuck, right? But with this Justice in Ten of Wands, it was the Justice in reverse. Like, we are the ones who have to let go of that programming. 745 on the timer, that number might be significant. We are the ones who need to let go of that programming, but we hold on to it for dear life because it's what we're used to. So I've talked about doing the sauna and cold plunge contrast therapy. You can find a way to do this on your own at home. Take a hot shower and then turn it all the way to cold real quickly for 2 minutes. That's all you need. And then you can warm yourself back up again, or get out of the shower and get to room temperature naturally. But the point is, at the bottom of the deck, we get 9 of Wands in the reverse position. Everything, like, timelines are clarifying and coming together right now. That's a big thing that I have been witnessing myself. And yeah, let justice come in, because when that trigger happened, I did my polyvagal breathing exercises to breathe through it. I said my binding declaration, and what I do, I was like, I'm not gonna let fear rule me. I finished doing what I was doing, and I came over to my altar to sit down and pray and do a reading. Tap in with the Most High. Tap in with the Holy Spirit. Tap in with the with my spirit team. You feel me? So that's really what I have to pass on to you. If you, like, don't think that this is a process to hurt you. The hurt has happened. The removal is not going to be easy, and it's going to take time, but it is well worth it. Okay? I love you all truly and deeply, and I will see you on the flip side. The pain is over, baby. We lit.